Yes, you do, and we are back ready to answer your computer, technology, streaming, and cybersecurity questions. We have a great show lined up for you. We are, by the way, on WPSL right now, 1590 on your AM dial on the Treasure Coast. We're also simultaneously streaming over to Facebook and YouTube. You can get the links to both of those on our website. We did make some changes and updates to our website this past week. So if you want to go to our to get the links to the live videos, right at the top of our page on our website is afasterpc.com. Right at the top, there's a button that says Live Technical Support. And actually on the right side, it has various ways that you can listen and watch the show on demand or live. Also, on the left-hand side, it actually has ways that you can request live technical support. If you need technical support with your computer, maybe you need remote support, in-shop labor, or you want us to come to you, to your business, to your medical office, to your dental office, your accountant's office, your home office, even your personal home, we can come to you, and we have links where you can actually schedule all of that yourself. We have booking links, and of course you can also send us an email. You can also call us as well. So various ways that you can do that. Of course, to be on the show today, 340-1590, 772-340-1590. That's how you get on the show. You can also type your question into the live videos that are going on over at Facebook and YouTube right now. We do have people watching us over there, and of course you could be over there as well. Some of the times, some of the questions that we show you, some of the things that we show you, we'll actually be able to show you the steps that we go through to resolve those computer problems, and you'll be able to see that over there. One of the things that we are going to show you here today is we're going to show you how you can actually stream live video. And in fact, we're going to show you how you can stream, because I did have someone that actually asked about this, how you can actually watch tennis without cable TV. So we're going to be showing you how to do that. We'll also today show you how you can manage your passwords, how you can really break through the password management nightmare, and then we'll be going over the latest security threats. But you are number one. If you have questions, if you have an issue that you need to go over, or maybe just have questions that you need to have answered, it doesn't, if it's a different topic, it doesn't matter. You can lead us. We can go in a different direction. We don't have to, I mean, we actually will cover most of what I talked about, today. But if we have to extend the show to do so, we'll do that. Of course, we can't extend it on the radio, but on our live stream, sometimes we actually go overtime. You get a bonus section if you're watching the live stream. And of course, again, right after the show's over, you can watch this in its entirety. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how you can watch tennis without cable TV. So a lot of people these days are thinking about cord cutting. Cord cutting doesn't just mean that we're not talking about the umbilical cord here. What we're talking about is the cable TV cord. So many of our customers tell us, hey, I'm paying so much. Whether you have cable TV, whether you have satellite, people are paying so much. We have customers that are paying over $300 a month for their service. And, we say, hey, you know what? We can cut that price down. You don't have to pay that much. There's no reason to have to pay that much. You can save a considerable amount of money if you switch over to streaming. Well, so one of the things that people are thinking about is, well, if I switch over to streaming, how will I be able to watch this? How will I be able to watch that? It's different for different people. You want to look at what do you want to watch? How do you, and really what's the best way of doing that? How can you actually do that affordably? And what are the best ways to actually do that? Now, when we're talking about tennis is available in a number of ways. So So, and on a number of platforms. Of course, if you have cable TV, you probably have package, depending on what you have, you probably have a package where you'll be able to actually watch those matches. And there are what I call cable TV substitute packages. And these are from providers like YouTube TV, DirecTV, Fubo, Sling. And DirecTV, by the way, don't just have the satellite, they actually have a streaming platform as well. And you can get that. There's also Hulu, and they include various levels of Hulu, including Hulu plus live TV. Some of the matches are available on ESPN Plus. And ESPN Plus, there are subscriptions that are $6.99 a month, and their most expensive subscription is $13.99 a month. That gives you, by the way, whatever is on ESPN, but also ESPN2, and there's additional content that is only streamed that is not on TV. That's one of the unique things about streaming, is that there are actually some events that you have to have a cable, or you have to have a streaming package to be able to watch. You can't actually get this with a traditional cable TV program, or with a cable TV substitute package. You won't be able to actually watch that. But ESPN Plus, you can actually watch. Again, there's some content that's not even on. There's some content that's not even on cable TV that is on ESPN Plus. ESPN Plus, by the way, has a lot. When we talk about streaming, ESPN Plus has a lot of the content that's sports related out there. Whether we're talking about basketball, whether we're talking about football, they have Monday Night Football. They have various basketball games, and there's other types of sports, including tennis. Tennis is really big on ESPN, and that's one of the ways that you can watch some of it. Now, tennis also has a channel themselves, or a streaming program themselves, and we'll actually go over how to actually watch that, how much it costs, and go over the subscription of that. Now, a lot of times different series are broadcast different ways. The Australian Open, for instance, is on ESPN Plus, ESPN, and also the Tennis Channel. The French Open is on NBC. If you have a satellite, or if you have a digital antenna, you'll actually be able to watch NBC, and you can also watch this on Peacock, and so you'll be able to, if you subscribe to Peacock, you'll be able to watch that. And then also the Tennis Channel does air all French Open matches, and again, or digital, with a digital antenna, you'll be able to watch that for free. There's also the Wimbledon Championships. That's on ESPN and ESPN2. You can get all of that with ESPN Plus. And then there's the U.S. Open, which is, again, on ESPN. So you see, on ESPN, you're able to get most of what is out there. And again, less than $15 a month for their most expensive package, and less than $10 a month for their least expensive, or their less expensive package. And then also Peacock is not very expensive for to be able to watch that, or even a digital antenna. Most people will be able, with a digital antenna, to get channels. We have some people that, using a digital antenna and a 20-foot pole, have been able to pick up channels from 100 miles away. So you can imagine, just think about where you live, your area, what channels you could actually get if you use that. Now, these apps, if you were to use one of the cable TV substitute packages, or you were to subscribe to ESPN Plus, or you're to subscribe to Peacock Plus. You can get all of these apps on your various streaming platforms. So like Roku. Roku is my personal favorite. I've used Fire TV, I've used Apple TV, I've used Chromecast, I've helped customers set those up. I've been amazed at how the Roku device is actually more user friendly and can do more than a lot of these other devices. Google also has entered the scene, and they have Google TV. And if you're out there looking at TVs, some of the TVs actually come with Roku built into them. Some of them come with Fire TV OS built into them. I've seen some of them lately with Google TV built into them. But if you don't have any of these, you could actually buy one of the Roku devices or a Fire Stick device or an Apple TV or a Google TV device. They do sell these. You can get them. And basically the standalone device will work with any TV. You can also, one of the neat things about it is you can actually take it with you. So if you're going on vacation or something and you're going to a hotel, well, take it with you, and then you can connect it to the TV through you need an HDMI cable, you need the device, you might need power depending on how it's powered, and then you'll be able to connect it to the HDMI port on the TV. You might have to switch the input, but then you'll be able to actually watch that right there. Now, you can also, we also went over the tennis channel. Now I'm going to switch over here to a full screen so that you can see this if you're watching on the live stream. I'll verbally describe this for those that are listening on the radio. But we're going to click over to a full screen here, and I'm going to show you the tennis channel. So we go to tennischannel.com. This is all you have to do, and you see various shows. And in fact, there's actually live commentary that's going on right now, and you see live and upcoming, and there's a Rome tournament that's going on, and so you'll be able to see this. You can actually click if we wanted to click on any of these. So let's click here and say we want to watch this match. Well, what's going to happen is we're going to see that we can subscribe or we can log in. So if we have a username and password, we can log in. Some of these will give you the option if the program or if the match is aired on cable TV, you'll also have the option. I'll go back and show you an example of that. Like this one right here is actually aired on the TV, so you can connect through a cable TV provider. So if you do have cable TV, you can log in with your cable TV provider. But here's the thing is you can subscribe now. So, this would be really, again, most of the matches you can actually get through an ESPN Plus subscription and a Peacock subscription. So, or a digital antenna. So maybe you don't need this, but if you want to get more matches, what you have is the most live tennis anywhere. Every ATP and WTA 1000 tournament plus 500s and 250s, Expos, Davis Cups, BJK Cups, and more. Access to 24/7 TV network, including expert commentary and exclusive player interviews, unparalleled access to outer courts, live replays, highlights, press conferences, draw ceremonies, originals, and more. $109.99 a year. You can actually subscribe to this right now if you want to. Also, let me switch over to the Roku device, and over at the Roku device, what I'll show you is I'll actually show you how you would actually install the tennis channel on the Roku device. Probably would be a little bit easier to actually set it up first on the computer, and you could watch it on the computer. One of the things we have talked about is you can actually with a computer you can actually switch over and connect. If the computer has an HDMI port, you can connect that out to the television. If it doesn't, there's a good chance that you can get an adapter or a USB port that exports out to that. So what we want to do though is we want to actually go over here and search. And we're going to search, we're just going to start searching for tennis. And we'll be able to actually find this and install this. Now, if you're Roku, when you set it up, you do have the option of setting it up with so here we got in TENN and we see tennis channel. And so we can actually get this channel. We can add the app. And when you set up your Roku, you have an option of having a PIN. So if you set it up with a PIN, you'll have to type in the PIN to be able to get there. But you see here that we can now open the app. And when we open the app, we'll have really very similar experience as viewing it on the web, except we're actually able to view this on the TV. So here we see we can subscribe, we can sign in, or we can connect with a TV provider. So all of these options here, and this is the way we do this. So if you're a tennis fan, you want to maybe cut the cord, save some money. You can still watch cable TV. You can still watch tennis without cable TV and without the big expense of cable TV. Why not save some money?
WPSL 1590, the talk of the Treasure Coast, is joining forces with WPBF Channel 25 First Warning Weather Team with 5 meteorologists. Here's WPBF Channel 25 First Warning Weather. Considerable cloudiness for your Saturday. Look for a high today in the upper 80s. Overnight low tonight dipping down into the middle 70s. And for Mother's Day, a few clouds hanging around, a high in the middle 80s. Look for a good chance of showers on Sunday night.
Living in Florida is paradise. Or at least it is until your AC breaks down. And if it does, remember the name, Seacoast Air Conditioning. We offer service in hours, not days. While some AC companies might take a message, be slow to respond, or not answer at all, we at Seacoast always answer the phone, show up on time, and fix the problem right the first time. That's the Seacoast way.
Comfort crisis? Don't roast. Call Seacoast.
This is Brian Longworth, host of A Faster PC Radio, where we answer your computer questions for free every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. But it gets even better than that.
Now, wait a minute. How could it possibly get any better than that?
Yes, Cliff. A Faster PC has technicians standing by every Saturday ready to work on your computer.
Wait a minute. Technicians standing by on a Saturday?
Well, Cliff, A Faster PC has technicians standing by Monday through Friday for standard and emergency service, both in-shop and on-site. That means you can bring your computer to A Faster PC, or A Faster PC can come to you. And if you need computer service in a hurry, we offer emergency service both in-shop and on-site. We can handle anything from software installs, viruses, spyware, to multi-site VPN networking. Computer problems?
You need a faster PC.
A Faster PC, conveniently located at 7186 South US 1, Port St. Lucie, and on the web at afasterpc.com. For more information, call 878-5978. 878-5978. Computer problems? You need a Faster PC.
All right, hey, we're back. We're ready to answer your computer, technical, streaming, and cybersecurity questions. So we are here. We're, this is what we do here at A Faster PC, live technical support. We answer your questions, and we're here to show you how you can do things. Now, one of the things we wanted to talk about today is password security. So, with password security, what we're actually looking at, there are a lot of people that are really doing things in a very haphazard way. In fact, a lot of people are using the same password for every single website. And here's the danger and if you use that, I mean, we'll go over the danger of doing that. A lot of people also are using like their kids' names or their grandkids' names, their dogs' names. They're using something that's very similar. They include their date of birth, things that really are very easy to know for a hacker to actually do a little bit, especially if you're on social media, especially if you're posting about your grandkids or about your dog, or your birth date is actually listed right on your social media account. Well, when you have that type of thing, a hacker's going to go there. They're going to try to figure that out. Well, once they get into that one account, if you've used the same password on multiple pages, well, they're just going to go there and they're going to be able to break in and use that. So that's why you really don't want to do that. And then you have people that don't write down their passwords. So then when they need to log in again, some people don't even remember that they have a password because they told the computer to keep them logged in on a particular website or something. They don't even remember that they actually have a password. So what actually happens with that is they get there, they go to log in, and all of a sudden they can't log in, and again they don't even remember that they have a password, much less what the password is. We see this quite often with Microsoft accounts. People, when you get a new computer, Microsoft really wants you to set that up with a Microsoft account. And people set it up with a Microsoft account, and then they also set up a PIN, and they type the PIN from there on out. They don't even remember that they have a password, but there are certain things that you need to be able to get in, and you need that password to be able to get in and find out what that is. We have people that use books, and they'll have their password written in the book, and then when they change it, they cross that out and they write the new password. And then when they change it again, they cross that out and they write the new password. Eventually, you'll run out of room there. And sometimes people actually forget to write down the new password. We've had people that come in that have 7 different passwords written down, and none of them are their password. And so then you have to actually reset the password. Resetting the password can be tricky if you have, let's say, they always want to send you a code. Maybe you've changed your phone. You don't have access to that phone anymore. Well, if you do that, you need to actually go and remember which accounts did I connect this phone to, and go and actually change that number to the new number. You also have email addresses that are linked, and maybe you don't have access to that email address anymore. We had a customer in here this past week that actually had didn't know his password to his account, so he switched passwords, and then he had another account that former account was used as an authentication method in case he forgot his password, and he didn't know the password to that other account either. So we had no way of resetting that password, so we ended up just creating 2 brand new accounts for him, whereas if he had actually remembered the password or had a system of organizing that password, that would have been much or so. One of the things that we want to go over here is really what are the best password what are the best password methods. And here's the thing: we actually, I mentioned some ways that people keep track of passwords. People also use Word documents that are unprotected, not password protected. Also Excel documents that are not password protected. We have people that actually have sticky notes. They write their password on a sticky note and they tape it to their monitor, or they tape it on the bottom side of their keyboard if they have like a desktop computer and they're using a separate keyboard, or they have a Rolodex that has all their usernames and passwords. There are so many ways, but none of these are actually secure. All of these ways actually give option or give way where a hacker can actually get into the system and can actually look at that. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, first of all, what are password best practices, how to come up with a secure password, how to keep track of your passwords. We're going to show you a free way of doing it, and we're going to show you a paid way of doing it as well. The paid way provides a lot of extra benefits, but it does cost some money. It doesn't cost a lot of money, but it's cost a little bit of money each month, and we'll actually go over that. So first of all, you do want to have a unique, complex password for every site. Now, if you're relying on your memory to remember passwords, it's not going to happen. You are not going to be able to create a truly complex password that you can remember for every site that you have. Now, I keep track of passwords for myself. I keep track of passwords for my parents. I keep track of passwords for our business, and actually and for some other people as well. When I actually switched over to a password management system, I actually had a situation where I had over 400 passwords that were saved. Now, I was using a freeway. I was using a spreadsheet that is password protected. And initially, I had like a basic pattern that I was using, and then I would change that pattern a little bit for each website. And that wasn't, maybe it was unique, and it was complex, but it wasn't as complex as it could have been. And so then I started getting more and more complex and started using some extra and started creating some extra complexity in my passwords. But I was actually saving them in an Excel file. But that Excel file was not just an Excel file that was open to anyone that had access to my computer. That Excel file actually was password protected. So to get into this Excel file, I actually had to type in a password, and that is a complex password, but it's a password that I know. It's a password that also my wife knows, and that way, if something happens to me, she can get into that account, and she can actually access that and be able to help take care of things. Well, then we're thinking about, okay, let's go to a password management system. But when you think about password management systems, you're trusting someone else with your data, your usernames, and your passwords. So when you think about this, you think, well, we want to be safe. How do we know whether this is safe? How do we know whether this company is actually going to safeguard my data? And there have been breaches from some of the password management systems. We've talked about one of them where the employees actually had access to usernames and passwords. They could actually reset your password for your account, and they could actually see your username and your password. And one of these employees was working from home and had his own personal computer that he was using to access the company data. And so with that, what actually happened was when he actually got to that, he had a media server on his system. And that media server was working. Everything looked like it was working. And one of the phrases that people say quite often is, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So he didn't update it. And in fact, there were over 30 patches that he didn't install. And one of those patches corrected a critical security error. Every program that is on your computer has unknown security vulnerabilities, and those are unknown until they're discovered. Quite often, they're discovered by hackers, and if hackers discover them before the manufacturer of that software discovers them, that's called a zero-day threat, and the hackers start taking advantage of that security vulnerability. And at that point, it's vital that the company actually comes out with a patch ASAP. Well, there was such a vulnerability in this media server, since everything was working and this employee was not security minded, the employee did not install the updates, and that allowed a hacker to get into his computer. He then logged into the password management system, and with his username and password and his MFA, or multi-factor authentication, at that point, the hacker that was in his system had access to millions of usernames and passwords. This particular company denied the breach, that the breach had happened. About 6 months later, they actually admitted that they had been breached, but said no personal data, no usernames and passwords were leaked. And then later on, they did admit that, well, there were millions of usernames and passwords that were actually exposed by this. So we actually looked for a secure password management system that's going to protect your system and going to protect your usernames and passwords. The password management system we settled on, we can't see your usernames and passwords. The company and their employees can't see your usernames and passwords. And what actually happens with this is that you actually have to have access. You actually have to know that password to get in there. There's also, when you create the account, there's a passphrase that is a random set of a whole bunch of words, about 20 different words that just don't mix or don't mash, don't make any sense together. But that's a way that you can record that, and then you can use that to replace your password. We do record that for customers when we're setting this up. We recorded it for ourselves as well. But that's a way. This particular system is able to actually create complex passwords. Excel is able to create complex passwords. You're just going to have to do it all manually. And there are some advantages to being able to have a password management system that is secure. So one of the things that we're actually looking at here with the password management system, I'm going to switch over to a full screen. And I'm going to actually show you, go into an Excel file. And this is just a sample of a password management system. And so you see here, there are columns, and we have websites. So you put the URL of the website, and then you put in this particular one, the example is pnc.com. Then you have a username, my username, and then you have a password. You have a spot for your date of birth. Now, the reason I did that is a lot of websites ask for your date of birth. Well, some people don't want to give their real date of birth. And in certain websites, you can use a date of birth that's not your real date of birth. But if you do that, you want to make sure that you that you remember what that is. So there's also phone number if you want to call them. There's secret question number 1, secret question number 2, and secret answer, secret question number 2, and all of this. There's some websites have a PIN. Some websites have you can record old passwords with this. There are various ways that you can do this, and you can type in your password, or you could use a code. Now, I actually have a formula that can actually create a 20-character password, a random 20-character password. And let me see. It looks like there's a problem with that formula. So, but there are formulas that exist where you can actually create a random password. It looks like we didn't quite get all of that. Let me just switch over and see if I can copy this here real quick. And let me see. We'll try this one more time. See if I can get that correct correct formula in there. So I'm going to just delete that. Okay, there we go. I got it. Let me switch back over and I'll show you this. So this is a formula. I'll post this formula into the description of this video. But this particular formula can create a 20-character random password. You see, this is very random. You don't really have any. You don't have to do anything with this. You could use this formula, and every time you click into this field, and you actually refresh that page, that you're going to get a new password. Now, you want to be able to, again, get all of your usernames and passwords into this. You also want to be able to save it in a way that is password protected. So when we click File, what we're going to do is go down. Let me see. I think under options, there is a way that we can save this with password. There is a way with Excel that you can actually encrypt this account. And let's see if it's under saved. So I'll actually come back to that on how to save that. But there is a way to save that where it requires a password to get back into the file. It is important to remember that password. You know, it's something that's complex, but also something that you can remember is good to use there. Now, we also, our password management system. Our password management system has a way, if you have been saving your passwords into your browser, I would encourage you not to do that, because if you ever let a hacker into your computer, within seconds, they're going to have all of your passwords, and they're going to know them without you even knowing that they have them. And so this is very, very tricky. You don't want to actually, you're opening yourself up to vulnerabilities by doing that. But if you have saved your passwords into your browser, you can actually, with our password management system, you can actually import those into the password management system. We then have a script that we can run that will delete your passwords out of your browsers, and we can configure your browser not to ask you to save that browser. This is capable of creating unique, complex passwords for every single site that, get this, you don't have to remember. All you have to do is enter the password into the system. It even helps you do that, and then click save, and it saves it. And if you accidentally save the wrong password, you can roll back to the previous version. You can recover deleted information. So all of this, and there's a phone app as well, so that you can have access to these on the phone. It really makes your life a lot easier, a lot more simple, and it's not very expensive each month. There's also a breach watch that looks for your information on the dark web and warns you.
You're listening to a Faster PC radio heard on this station every Saturday in the 10 o'clock hour. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back for the final segment of today's show. Listen, if you want to get your computer questions answered and you haven't called in, now's your opportunity. In fact, this is your last opportunity coming up. 772-340-1590. 772-340-1590. You can also head over to our Facebook page, and you can actually, from the Facebook page, you can type your computer questions into the comment section of the live video, and we'll cover them on today's show. But you know what? You've got to get over there right now, or give us a call, 772-340-1590, so we can answer your computer questions. Computer problems? You need a faster PC. From the founding of our company, a Faster PC has provided our customers with quality service and computer products at competitive prices. We find that in the current economy, this is more important than ever. A Faster PC recently conducted a market survey and found that our prices are the least expensive in the area. Some of our competitors charge twice what we charge. Perhaps that's why more customers are turning to a Faster PC. We're helping our customers save money by repairing their computers rather than replacing them.
Now, wait a minute. You mean a Faster PC saves customers money?
A Faster PC offers the most competitive prices for computer repair in our area.
Wait a minute. Technicians that know what they're doing for less than the competition?
That's right. A Faster PC can handle anything from software installs, virus, spyware, and malware, and those annoying pop-ups, to QuickBooks, Metisoft, and SoftIn support, from wireless networks to hardware networks. Computer problems?
You need a Faster PC.
Conveniently located at 7186 South US 1, Port St. Lucie, and on the web at afasterpc.com. Call 878-5978. Computer problems? You need a Faster PC.
This is Brian Longworth, host of a Faster PC Radio, where we answer your computer questions for free every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. But it gets even better than that.
Now, wait a minute. How could it possibly get any better than that?
Yes, Cliff. A Faster PC has technicians standing by every Saturday ready to work on your computer.
Wait a minute. Technicians standing by on a Saturday?
Well, Cliff, a Faster PC has technicians standing by Monday through Friday for standard and emergency service, both in-shop and on-site. That means you can bring your computer to a Faster PC or a faster PC can come to you. And if you need computer service in a hurry, we offer emergency service both in-shop and on-site. We can handle anything from software installs, viruses, spyware, to multi-site VPN networking. Computer problems?
You need a faster PC.
A Faster PC, conveniently located at 7186 South US 1, Port St. Lucie, and on the web at afasterpc.com. For more information, call 878-5978. 878-5978. Computer problems? You need a Faster PC.
Welcome back to A Faster PC Radio. This is the last segment of today's show. We'd love to answer your computer questions, but if you don't call, we can't answer. Give us a call. The number to have your computer question answered is 772-340-1590, 772-340-1590, or you can hop on over to our Facebook page, A Faster PC, and actually from there, you can type your question into the comment section. So again, just a few more minutes to answer your questions. We did want to remind you also that not only can you ask your questions at the Facebook page or by calling 772-340-1590, but you can also watch the video as well. So some of the questions that I'm answering, as I answer those questions, I'll be able actually to show you the steps that you go through to resolve computer problems. And if you're not where you can watch it right now, that's fine. You can watch it at your convenience shortly after the show's over. It'll be up there on our Facebook page. You can get there one of two ways. Either go to our website, afasterpc.com. We have a link that says Listen to A Faster PC Radio. If you click on that, it'll take you to our Facebook page, or go to Facebook and search for A Faster PC. We also wanted to remind you that in the shop we have technicians standing by today to work on computers and resolve computer problems. We're at 7190 South US 1, and our number in the office is 772-878-5978. And of course, we're here to answer your questions. Well, your computer questions, and we could answer other questions, but we're here specifically to answer computer questions. Computer problems? You need a faster PC. That's right, and we are back ready to answer your computer technology, streaming, and cybersecurity questions, even though this is the last segment of today's show. Hey, if you have a question, we can extend the show out. We'll answer your question, and we can extend the show out to cover the cybersecurity rundown and also show you how to password protect that spreadsheet. If you want to use the free way of using a spreadsheet, you want to password protect it, I believe that Word will do about the same thing. It's just Word. You don't have the cells in Word that you have with Excel. So that's why I like using Excel versus using Microsoft Word. One of the things with that, a lot of people are saying, hey, you know what, this is just a little bit too much. I don't want to have to deal with all this. Why do we have to deal with all this? Well, here's why. And some people say, well, it doesn't matter because I don't have anything worth stealing. But I can guarantee you do have something worth stealing. You have your reputation. Even if you're just a person, and you're not a business, you're not a medical practice. If you're a business, you're a medical practice. You're even if you're a business that doesn't do a lot of business, you still, if a hacker gets a hold of your email address and starts sending fake invoices to your customers that infect your customers' computers, well, they're going to be a little bit upset with you. I can guarantee you that. So you want to actually protect yourself. You want to keep your reputation good. And even if you're an individual person, imagine your friends and your family getting emails that are trying to scam them, and some of them will fall for them because they love you enough to help you out. And so you do want to protect yourself on this. So I'm going to switch back over to a full screen. I'm going to go back to Excel and show you Microsoft. The reason that I didn't remember this, Microsoft has a habit of changing how you do things, and one of the ways they used to have on the review page where you could actually protect, and I think you could actually even still do this. You can protect the workbook right here. You can protect it with a password. So that still is there, but you can also click File. and you can go down to Info, and you can click Protect Workbook, and you can encrypt it with a password. You would then type in a password. I would encourage you to make sure that you're typing what you think you're typing, and make sure you don't have cap locks on. Make sure that you can get back into it. We want you to be able to get back into that file, and even close it out and open it back up before you start putting things into there. Make sure that you're able to even reboot your computer just in case you have cap locks on, and or you mistyped it or something like that. So that's a way. If you want to do it the manual free way, you can do it that way. It's just you'll have more convenience if you use a password management system. And again, it doesn't cost too much to do that. Now we're going to go over the cybersecurity threat rundown. These are the biggest cyber threats this week, and really what we're seeing is that hackers are constantly trying to break into your computer. And by the way, these aren't just some guy sitting in his basement, his parents' basement, trying to get a little bit of notoriety. Some of these hackers actually work for the Russian government or the Chinese government. They're trying to go after your data, and they're trying to disrupt your data, whether it's a personal computer, a small office, small business, or even a home office, or whether it's a larger company, or medical practice, dental practice. I mean, imagine what would happen if someone got a hold of your data, encrypted it, and then held it ransom. Either for you to get it back, you had to pay the ransom, or to prevent them from releasing that data publicly, you had to actually pay the ransom. Well, there's major threats that are out there this week. The biggest ones that we have seen, there's an RDP, or remote desktop protocol backdoor, that Microsoft isn't fixing. There's a Sentinel-1 EDR bypass technique. There's a Cisco maximum security vulnerability. There's also a Sonic Wall VPN vulnerability. There's a Langflow remote code execution vulnerability. There's an Android flaw that has been addressed by Google, and there's also a WordPress plugin. We're going to go over all of these threats. We're going to explain the threats, and we're also going to show you steps that you can take to actually protect yourself. So the first one is the RDP backdoor that Microsoft isn't fixing. Researchers have uncovered a long-standing security flaw in Microsoft's remote desktop protocol that allows users with to log in with old Microsoft remote desktop protocol that allows users to log in with old revoked passwords. This occurs because Windows caches previous credentials locally, enabling access even after a password changes. Microsoft has acknowledged this behavior as intentional, citing compatibility concerns, and has no plans to address it. Security experts warn that this effectively creates a persistent backdoor, posing risk to both individuals, users, and organizations. Admins are urged to put additional remediation in place for RDP instances to mitigate the risk of this vulnerability. One of those extra features could be multi-factor authentication. In addition to the username and password, you have to have a code that's generated from a authenticator app. And that's a really good way to protect your systems. Also, Sentinel-1 EDR bypass technique. Security researchers have identified a new method dubbed Bring Your Own Installer that allows attackers to bypass Sentinel-1's endpoint detect and response protections. By exploiting a flaw in the agent's upgrade process, attackers can disable Sentinel-1's anti-tamper feature, leaving systems vulnerable to malware. This technique was observed in real-world random attacks, highlighting the need for organizations to enable Sentinel-1's online authorization feature to prevent unauthorized modifications. Cisco maximum security vulnerability in WLCs. Cisco has addressed a critical security vulnerability in its iOS XE wireless LAN controllers, which could allow unauthenticated remote attackers to gain full control of affected devices. The flaw stems from a hard-coded JSON or JSON web token in the out-of-band access point or AP image download feature, enabling attackers to upload arbitrary file and execute commands with root privileges. Cisco has released patches to address the issue, and organizations are strongly advised to update their systems promptly to mitigate potential risk. There's a SonicWall VPN vulnerability that is being exposed that is being exploited. SonicWall has issued an urgent alert to administrators urging them to patch 3 critical vulnerabilities affecting its secure mobile access or SMA 100 series VPN appliances. These flaws can be chained together by attackers to gain root level, that's the lowest level, remote code execution, potentially compromising affected devices. At least one of these vulnerabilities is already being exploited in the wild. That means this is a 0-day threat. You've got to get out there. If you're using SonicWall, you need to update those devices immediately. Administrators are advised to update to firmware version 10.2.1.15 through 8.1 SV or later. Enable multi-factor authentication or MFA, and review device logs for any signs of unauthorized access. I can guarantee you these threats that we're talking about will be exploited, and one of these is being exploited right now. There's a length flow RCE or remote code execution vulnerability that is exploiting AI servers. There's a critical vulnerability in LangFlow, an open source tool for building AI workflows. It's being exploited, actively exploited by attackers. That means it's a 0-day threat. You need to correct the issue right away. This flaw allows unauthenticated users to execute arbitrary code on servers via an insecure API endpoint, potentially leading to full system compromise. The issue was addressed in version 1.3.0, but many systems remain unpatched. The U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, has added this vulnerability to its known exploited vulnerabilities catalog, urging organizations to update immediately or implement protective measures. There's an Android flaw that's addressed in Google's May 2025 update. Google has this update, and this is affecting Android security. It addresses 46 vulnerabilities, including a security flaw in the free type font rendering library that has been actively exploited. Again, this is a 0-day threat. If you're out there and you're using a Google phone or a Google tablet, you need to make sure that you're getting it updated. This high severity issue allows attackers to execute code on devices without user interaction or elevated privileges. The U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, has added this vulnerability to its known exploited vulnerabilities catalog, urging organizations to apply this patch by May 27th, 2025. I would do it right now if I were you, because it's actively being exploited. Users are strongly encouraged to update their devices promptly to mitigate potential risk. By the way, if you're using a device that can't be updated anymore, replace it. You need to have the updates for security patches. AutoKit. There's an AutoKit WordPress plugin vulnerability that's exposing over 100,000 websites. Even if you don't have a website, you go to websites, so this could affect you. Hackers are actively exploiting a critical vulnerability in the AutoKit WordPress plugin which is used on over 100,000 websites. This flaw allows attackers to create unauthorized administrator accounts by exploiting a logic error in the plugin's API, specifically in the Create WP Connect function, bypassing authentication checks when application passwords aren't set. Website administrators using AutoKit are strongly advised to update to versions 1.0.83 immediately and review their site logs for unauthorized admin accounts. I know that what we're going over here is quite a bit. This is a lot of stuff. What we need to actually do here is it's important to be aware of this. If you don't know whether this affects you or not, you need some help, a Faster PC is able to help you. You can give us a call, 772-878-5978, 772-878-5978, or check out our website and send us a message there at fasterpc.com.
And we're coming to the end of today's show, but if you've missed any part of this show, or just want to listen to it again or watch it again, because you can do that at our Facebook page and YouTube channel. You can not only hear the show, but also see the show. And when we've described and shown you how to resolve computer problems, you can actually see that and watch it over and over again at our Facebook page or our YouTube channel. You can get there by going to our website at fasterpc.com and clicking on the links. We're open today until 2 p.m. Monday through Friday, we're open from 9 to 5. And next Saturday, we'll be open from 9 to 2. We want to invite you to listen to our church radio show tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. here on WPSL. The title of tomorrow's sermon is, Will You Pray for the Pope? Part 2. You can listen to other sermons on our church website, covenanttabernacle.com, or our church Facebook page, Covenant Tabernacle World Outreach Center. You can find a Faster PC's Facebook page and YouTube channel by searching for a Faster PC on Facebook and YouTube, or by going to our website and clicking on the links. While there, you can actually watch the show, not only hear the show, but also watch the show and see the steps that we go through to actually resolve computer problems. A Faster PC is conveniently located at 7190 South US 1 on the east side of US 1, just north of Rio Mar. We're also on the web at www.afasterpc.com. Again, that's afasterpc.com. And you can reach us at 772-878-5978. Again, 772-878-5978. Computer problems?
Don't you know by now you need a Faster PC?
Where would you be without your mom? When we think of existence, the answer is obvious. You wouldn't be here. Beyond giving you life, though, mothers play a vital role in raising and nurturing children, and do so without pay and often without the gratitude due them. This Mother's Day, take time to thank and honor your mom and commit to doing so throughout the year. And if you're a mother, thank you for the love and sacrifice you have made to care for your children.
WPSL, Port St. Lucie, WSTU, Stewart.